Breaking Zilla Fatu just exposed the Bloodline's biggest secret and Roman Reigns is furious. You are not going to believe what Zilla Fatu just said in an interview that WWE is desperately trying to scrub from the internet. Zilla, the son of the legendary Omega and the newest member of the legendary NOI wrestling family, just dropped a bombshell about his potential reunion with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline that has completely exposed the dark truth behind WWE's most dominant faction. And I am absolutely livid right now because what Zilla revealed proves that everything we thought we knew about the Bloodline was a lie. The family unity? Fake. The loyalty and tradition? Manufactured. Roman Reigns positioning himself as the tribal chief who cares about family legacy? Complete and total bull. And Zilla Fatu just pulled back the curtain and showed us exactly what's really happening behind the scenes. But here's what I need from you right now in the comments. Are you as furious as I am that Roman and WWE have been manipulating the NOI family storyline this entire time? Or do you think Zilla is out of line for publicly calling out the Bloodline and exposing family business? Tell me right now, because what I'm about to reveal is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and WWE's treatment of the legendary NOI family. Let me break down exactly what Zilla Fatu said in this explosive interview, because every single word is loaded with implications that could completely destroy the Bloodline as we know it. In a recent sit-down interview with an independent wrestling podcast, Zilla Fatu was asked about the possibility of joining WWE and reuniting with his family members in the Bloodline. Now, most wrestlers in Zilla's position would give a standard diplomatic answer. They'd say something generic like, "I'd love to work with my family," or "WWE would be a dream come true," or "I'm focused on my current work," but never say never. But Zilla didn't do that. Instead, Zilla went off. He spoke with a level of honesty and frustration that you never hear from wrestlers who want to work for WWE someday. And what he revealed is absolutely explosive. According to Zilla, he has been in contact with WWE. He has had conversations about potentially joining the Bloodline. And those conversations did not go the way you would expect, especially given Roman Reigns' constant talk about family, legacy, and keeping the Bloodline strong. Zilla revealed that Roman Reigns personally told him that he's not ready for WWE, that he needs more time developing on the independent scene, that the Bloodline doesn't need any new members right now, and that when and if WWE decides to bring Zilla in, it will be on their terms, not his. Now, on the surface, that might sound reasonable. Roman is the established star. WWE is the biggest company. Of course they get to dictate terms. But here's where Zilla's revelation becomes absolutely damning for Roman's entire family-first persona. Zilla pointed out that at the exact same time Roman was telling him he's not ready, WWE was bringing in other wrestlers with less experience, less pedigree, and less connection to the Bloodline story. Zilla specifically mentioned that Solo Sikoa was brought up to the main roster relatively quickly, that other family members have been given opportunities. But somehow, Zilla, the son of Omega, one of the most dominant monsters in WWE history, is being told to wait. Here's my first question for you, and I want brutal honesty in the comments. Do you think Roman Reigns is genuinely looking out for Zilla's best interests by telling him to wait, or is Roman afraid that Zilla is too talented and would steal his spotlight? Drop your answer below. But Zilla didn't stop there. He went even deeper into the dysfunction within the NOI family and how WWE and Roman Reigns have exploited it for storyline purposes while ignoring the real family dynamics. Zilla revealed that there are members of the NOI family who feel completely shut out of WWE opportunities, that there's resentment building among younger family members who see the Bloodline on television every week representing the family, but they're not being given any path to be part of that success. According to Zilla, the NOI family is huge. There are dozens of wrestlers across multiple generations who are part of this legendary lineage, but WWE only uses a select few: Roman, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and occasionally others, while the rest are expected to just be happy that the family name is being represented. Zilla specifically called out the hypocrisy of Roman Reigns. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Roman talks constantly about family and bloodline and legacy, but when it comes to actually helping younger family members get opportunities in WWE, Roman is nowhere to be found. Roman has become a gatekeeper who decides which family members are worthy and which aren't, and he makes those decisions based on what benefits Roman, not what's best for the family. That is a scathing accusation. Zilla is essentially saying that Roman Reigns has turned the Bloodline into a cult of personality centered around Roman himself, rather than a genuine family organization that lifts up all members of the NOI lineage. And you know what? Looking at the evidence, it's hard to argue with Zilla's assessment. Think about how the Bloodline has actually functioned. Who has benefited? Roman Reigns has had the longest championship reign in modern WWE history. The Usos became the longest reigning tag team champions ever. Solo Sikoa has been pushed as a monster. Paul Heyman has remained prominently featured. But what about other NOI family members? Where are the opportunities for Zilla Fatu? Where are the opportunities for Lance NOI? Where are the opportunities for the younger generation who are training in working independent shows trying to follow in their family's footsteps? They're being told to wait, to keep paying their dues, to prove themselves on the independents while Roman and the chosen few reap all the rewards of the family name. Let me ask you something, do you think WWE has an obligation to give opportunities to all talented members of the Anoa'i family, or should only the absolute best make it to WWE regardless of family connections? Tell me in the comments. Now let's talk about what Zilla specifically revealed about his conversations with Roman Reigns, because this is where things get really interesting and expose Roman's true character. According to Zilla, he reached out to Roman multiple times asking for advice, mentorship, and help navigating a potential path to WWE. These weren't entitled demands. Zilla wasn't asking Roman to hand him a job. He was asking his family member, someone who has achieved everything in wrestling, for guidance and support. And Roman's response? According to Zilla, Roman was dismissive and cold. Roman told Zilla that everyone has to make their own path. That Roman didn't have any family members helping him when he was coming up, so why should Zilla expect special treatment? That if Zilla is good enough, WWE will find him eventually. Now, here's why that response is absolutely infuriating and completely hypocritical. Roman Reigns absolutely did have family helping him when he was coming up. Roman was brought into WWE as part of the Shield specifically because of his family lineage and the value WWE saw in having another Anoa'i family member. Roman was protected and pushed from day one because of who his family is. Roman's entire tribal chief character is built on his family legacy and his position within the Anoa'i hierarchy. So for Roman to now turn around and tell younger family members like Zilla that they're on their own and need to make their own path without family help is absolutely ridiculous. Roman built his entire career on the foundation of his family name, and now he's pulling the ladder up behind him and telling others they can't use that same advantage. That's not leadership. That's not being a tribal chief. That's selfishness and insecurity masquerading as tough love. Zilla also revealed something that I think is even more damning. Roman hasn't just been unhelpful, he's been actively blocking opportunities for Zilla and other family members. According to Zilla, there have been independent promotions and wrestling companies that wanted to bring Zilla in for special appearances or to be part of Anoa'i family reunion shows. Some of these opportunities would have raised Zilla's profile and helped him get noticed by bigger companies, including potentially WWE. But Roman supposedly intervened. Roman, through his representatives or directly, made it known that he didn't want certain family members being featured in ways that might compete with or dilute the Bloodline's presentation in WWE. Roman wanted complete control over how the Anoa'i family is perceived in wrestling, and that meant limiting what other family members could do. If that's true and Zilla has no reason to lie about this, that's absolutely disgusting behavior from someone who claims to be about family first. Do you believe Zilla's accusations that Roman has been actively blocking opportunities for other family members, or do you think Zilla might be exaggerating out of frustration? Let me know in the comments. Now let's discuss Zilla Fatu himself, because understanding who he is makes this situation even more frustrating and explains why Roman might actually see him as a threat. Zilla Fatu is not some random family member trying to coast on the Anoa'i name. This man is legit. Zilla has been training for years. He's worked independent shows across the country. He's developed his own style and character. And most importantly, Zilla has the look and the talent to be a major star. Zilla is the son of Omega, who was one of the most believable and dominant monster characters in WWE history. Omega's run in the mid-2000s was incredible. He was presented as an unstoppable force who destroyed everyone in his path. The Samoan bulldozer was feared and respected, and his matches were always intense and memorable. Zilla has inherited his father's physical presence and intensity. He's a big man who moves with surprising agility. He has the traditional Samoan tribal tattoos that connect him visually to his heritage, and he has that same wild, dangerous energy that made his father such a compelling performer. But Zilla isn't just trying to be Omega 2.0, he's developed his own identity and style while honoring his father's legacy. He's shown versatility in the ring. He can work as a monster heel or a powerful babyface. He cuts promos with confidence and passion. By all accounts, Zilla Fatu is absolutely ready for a bigger stage. So why is Roman saying he's not ready? Why is WWE not jumping at the chance to sign the son of Omega and add him to the Bloodline? The answer, according to Zilla's revelations, is simple. Roman Reigns sees Zilla as potential competition rather than potential collaboration. Roman knows that Zilla has the pedigree, the look, the talent, and the family name to become a major star. Roman knows that fans would immediately connect with Zilla because of his father's legacy. Roman knows that adding Zilla to the Bloodline would make the faction stronger and more compelling. But Roman also knows that all of those positives for the Bloodline are potential negatives for Roman personally. Because every moment Zilla gets to shine is a moment Roman isn't the center of attention. Every Zilla highlight is a reminder that the Bloodline doesn't revolve solely around Roman. Every fan chant for Zilla is validation that there are other worthy members of the family. and Roman's ego apparently can't handle that. So instead of embracing Zilla and bringing him into the fold, Roman is keeping him at arm's length and making excuses about why it's not the right time. Quick question: if Zilla Fatu joined WWE and the Bloodline tomorrow, do you think he would eventually be more over with fans than Roman Reigns? Give me your honest prediction in the comments. Let's also address what Zilla revealed about the other family members who feel shut out and how this connects to larger issues within the Bloodline storyline. Zilla mentioned that he's not the only one frustrated. There are multiple younger Anoa'i family members who feel like they're being kept on the outside while Roman builds his empire. And this frustration isn't just about WWE opportunities, it's about respect and recognition within the family itself. According to Zilla, there's a perception among some family members that Roman has become too big for the family, that he's prioritized his individual success over collective family success, that he uses the family name and legacy when it benefits him, but doesn't actually invest in helping the family as a whole. This directly contradicts everything Roman's character stands for. The tribal chief is supposed to be the leader who puts family first, who makes decisions for the good of the bloodline, who ensures that all family members are taken care of and have opportunities to succeed. But if Zilla's revelations are accurate, Roman is doing the exact opposite. He's hoarding opportunities. He's gatekeeping access to WWE. He's building his own brand at the expense of other family members who deserve their own chances to succeed. And here's what makes this even more interesting from a storyline perspective: this real-life tension could actually make for incredible television if WWE was smart enough to use it. Imagine a storyline where Zilla Fatu shows up on WWE programming and publicly calls out Roman Reigns for being a fake tribal chief who doesn't actually care about family. Imagine Zilla cutting promos about how Roman has abandoned younger family members and turned the bloodline into a cult of personality rather than a true family organization. Imagine the other frustrated family members rallying behind Zilla to challenge Roman's authority. Imagine a civil war within the bloodline where it's Roman and his loyalists versus Zilla and the family members who feel shut out and disrespected. That would be money. That would be compelling television that writes itself because it's based on real emotions and real family dynamics. But according to Zilla, WWE and Roman have no interest in telling that story because it would require Roman to be portrayed as flawed and possibly even villainous in a way that's too real and uncomfortable. Would you want to see a bloodline civil war storyline with Zilla Fatu leading a faction of family members against Roman Reigns? Yes or no, and explain why in the comments. Now I want to talk about the specific moment in Zilla's interview that really made my jaw drop, because this is where Zilla went from being frustrated to being openly defiant toward Roman and the bloodline. The interviewer asked Zilla directly, if WWE called you tomorrow and offered you a spot in the bloodline under Roman's leadership, would you accept? And Zilla's answer was shocking. He said no. He said that based on everything he's experienced and everything he knows about how Roman operates, he would not want to be part of the bloodline in its current form. Zilla explained that he doesn't want to be another soldier in Roman's army. He doesn't want to stand in the background while Roman gets all the glory. He doesn't want to be used as a prop to make Roman look stronger without getting opportunities to showcase his own abilities and build his own legacy. Zilla said that if WWE wants to sign him, he'd prefer to come in as his own man, to build his own character and his own story separate from the bloodline. And then, maybe down the line, if Roman proves that he's actually willing to share the spotlight and treat family members with respect, Zilla might consider aligning with him. But as things stand right now, Zilla wants nothing to do with the bloodline. He'd rather stay on the independents building his own reputation than become another nameless member of Roman's faction. That is incredible. That's a member of the Anoa'i family publicly rejecting the bloodline and Roman Reigns. That's unprecedented, and it shows just how deep the dysfunction goes. And you know what? I respect Zilla for having that level of self-respect and confidence. He's not willing to sacrifice his own potential just for the privilege of being on WWE television. He recognizes that being part of the bloodline under Roman's leadership might actually hurt his career rather than help it. How many other wrestlers would have the guts to say no to WWE and the bloodline? Most would jump at the opportunity regardless of the circumstances. But Zilla is thinking long-term and protecting his own interests, and I think that's smart. Be honest, would you respect Zilla more if he stuck to his principles and stayed independent, or would you think he's being foolish to turn down a WWE opportunity? Tell me in the comments. Let's also discuss how this connects to the GUSO situation, because there are clear parallels between what Zilla is saying and what we've seen play out with G's character on WWE television. GUSO eventually left the bloodline because he was tired of being under Roman's thumb. He was tired of the manipulation, the psychological abuse, and the lack of respect. G realized that being part of the bloodline meant sacrificing his own identity and potential, and he decided his self-respect was more important than staying in the faction. Everything G went through in storyline is apparently what Zilla and other family members are experiencing in real life. The storyline wasn't just fiction, it was based on real family dynamics and real tensions within the Anoa'i family about Roman's leadership and attitude. That makes the Bloodline storyline even more fascinating because it's blurring the lines between reality and fiction in ways that most fans don't even realize. When Roman is being a tyrannical tribal chief on television, he might not just be playing a character. He might be revealing his true personality and how he actually treats family members behind the scenes. And if that's the case, then Zilla's decision to speak out publicly makes even more sense. He's trying to warn other young wrestlers and family members about what they're actually getting into if they align with Roman. He's trying to pull back the curtain and show people that the Bloodline isn't the family-oriented faction it pretends to be. Now let's talk about WWE's reaction to Zilla's interview because according to reports, WWE is not happy that Zilla went public with this information. Apparently, WWE reached out to the podcast and requested that the interview be taken down or edited to remove Zilla's comments about Roman and the Bloodline. The podcast refused, citing freedom of speech and the newsworthiness of Zilla's revelations. WWE then reportedly contacted Zilla directly and expressed disappointment that he would air family business publicly. They suggested that speaking negatively about Roman Reigns might hurt Zilla's chances of ever being signed by WWE in the future. And Zilla's response? He said he doesn't care. He said that if being honest about his experiences and standing up for himself means WWE won't hire him, then he doesn't want to work for WWE anyway. He'd rather maintain his integrity than compromise his values for a paycheck. Again, I have to respect that level of principle. Zilla is putting his career on the line to speak his truth, and that takes courage. But it also reveals how WWE operates. They want complete control over the narrative. They don't want wrestlers, especially unsigned wrestlers, talking publicly about backstage politics or family dynamics that might contradict the storylines they're presenting on television. WWE wants the Anoa'i family to present a united front. They want the Bloodline to appear strong and cohesive. Zilla's revelations threaten that carefully constructed image, and WWE is scrambling to contain the damage. Do you think Zilla made the right choice speaking out publicly even if it costs him a WWE opportunity, or should he have kept quiet and played politics to get signed? Let me know your thoughts. Here's something else Zilla revealed that I think is really important. He's not the only one who feels this way, but he is the only one willing to say it publicly. According to Zilla, he's had conversations with other family members and other wrestlers who have similar experiences with Roman and WWE. People who have been told they're not ready. People who have been blocked from opportunities. People who feel like Roman is more concerned with protecting his position than helping others succeed. But most of those people are too scared to speak out because they don't want to burn bridges with WWE or alienate Roman, who has tremendous influence in the wrestling industry. Zilla said he decided to go public because someone needs to. Someone needs to hold Roman accountable. Someone needs to tell the truth about what's really happening behind the scenes, even if it's uncomfortable or controversial. And Zilla hopes that by speaking out, he'll encourage others to do the same. He wants to start a conversation about how WWE and top stars treat younger talent and family members. He wants to challenge the power dynamics that allow established stars to gatekeep opportunities and prevent new talent from rising. That's admirable. Zilla isn't just complaining about his own situation, he's trying to advocate for systemic change in how wrestling operates. He's trying to create space for more people to have opportunities, not just himself. Now let me address the counterargument because I want to be fair to Roman's perspective, even though I largely agree with Zilla. From Roman's point of view, he might genuinely believe he's protecting younger family members by telling them to develop more before coming to WWE. The main roster is brutal. The pressure is immense. Wrestlers who get called up before they're ready often fail and never recover from that initial bad impression. Roman might look at Zilla and think he's got potential, but he needs another year or two on the independents to really refine his craft before he's ready for WWE's main roster spotlight. That would be coming from a place of concern, not ego or jealousy. Roman also might be protecting the Bloodline's presentation. If the Bloodline becomes too bloated with members, it loses its impact. Having a core group of Roman, Solo, and occasionally others allows each member to feel important and significant. Adding too many people might dilute the faction's effectiveness. And from a storyline perspective, Roman might be waiting for the right time to bring in new members. Maybe WWE has plans for Zilla or others down the line, but the current storylines don't have space for new Bloodline members yet. Those are all legitimate possible explanations for Roman's behavior that don't require him to be the villain in this story. But here's why I don't fully buy those explanations: Roman's actions don't match his words. If Roman truly cared about helping family members prepare for WWE, he'd be mentoring them. He'd be offering training advice. He'd be helping them make connections in the industry. He'd be actively invested in their development. Instead, according to Zilla, Roman is cold and dismissive. That's not the behavior of someone who cares about family success. That's the behavior of someone who sees family members as potential threats to his position. Let me ask you, do you think Roman genuinely believes he's helping Zilla by making him wait, or is Roman just protecting his own spot at the top? Give me your read on Roman's true motivations. Now let's talk about what happens next because Zilla's revelations have put everyone in an interesting position. WWE now has to decide how to handle this situation. Do they ignore Zilla's comments and hope they blow over? Do they address them on programming and potentially work them into storylines? Do they reach out to Zilla and try to repair the relationship? Roman Reigns now has to decide how to respond. Does he address Zilla's accusations publicly? Does he reach out privately to smooth things over? Does he double down on his position that Zilla needs more development time? And Zilla himself has to live with the consequences of speaking out. He's burned bridges with WWE and Roman, at least temporarily. He's made himself a controversial figure in wrestling. He's positioned himself as someone willing to challenge authority and speak uncomfortable truths. That could hurt his career, or it could actually help him stand out and get noticed by other companies. AEW might be very interested in signing Zilla now, especially if they can position him as the Anoa'i family member that WWE rejected. Other promotions might see value in Zilla's willingness to speak his mind and not just follow orders. Personally, I think Zilla's stock actually went up as a result of this interview. He showed personality. He showed conviction. He showed that he's not just another wrestler trying to follow the formula, he's someone with his own perspective and his own voice. Wrestling needs more people like that. Wrestling needs wrestlers who are willing to be honest and authentic instead of just saying what they think they're supposed to say. Where do you think Zilla Fatu should go from here? Should he keep pushing for WWE? Should he sign with AEW? Or should he keep building on the independents? Drop your booking ideas in the comments. Let me also address the larger implications of Zilla's revelations for the Bloodline storyline on WWE television. Everything Zilla said adds layers and complexity to what we're seeing on screen. When we watch Roman interact with other Bloodline members, we can now wonder how much of that is character and how much is real. When we see tensions within the Bloodline, we know those tensions reflect real family dynamics. This makes the Bloodline storyline even more compelling because it feels authentic. We're not just watching a scripted wrestling angle, we're watching a real family working through real issues in front of a global audience. And that authenticity is what's made the Bloodline the best storyline in wrestling over the past few years. It feels real in a way that most wrestling doesn't. And now we know why it feels real, because it is real. The question is whether WWE will acknowledge that reality and incorporate it into their storytelling, or whether they'll continue pretending that everything is fine and the Bloodline is one big happy family. I vote for leaning into the reality. Give us the messy, complicated, dysfunctional family drama. Give us Zilla showing up to challenge Roman. Give us the civil war that's clearly brewing beneath the surface. Give us the real Bloodline story, not the sanitized corporate version. As we wrap this up, I want to emphasize how significant Zilla Fatu's revelations are. This isn't just gossip or drama, this is someone pulling back the curtain on how WWE operates, how top stars wield power, and how family dynamics in wrestling are more complicated than they appear on television. Zilla has done the wrestling community a service by speaking honestly about his experiences. He started important conversations about gatekeeping, family legacy, and the responsibility that established stars have to help the next generation. Whether you agree with Zilla or think he's out of line, you have to admit that what he said is interesting and worth discussing. And that's what we're here for, to have these discussions and analyze what's really happening in wrestling beyond just the storylines we see on TV. So here's what I need from you. First, smash the like button if you appreciate Zilla Fatu's honesty and courage in speaking out. Second, subscribe to Wrestling Newsletter if you haven't already, because we're going to continue following this story as it develops. And third, leave a comment answering this final question: do you think Zilla Fatu's decision to publicly expose the truth about Roman Reigns and the Bloodline was brave and necessary? Or do you think he made a mistake that will hurt his career? And regardless of your answer, do you think WWE should sign Zilla and make him part of the storyline, or should they continue keeping him at arm's length? I'm reading every single comment, so don't hold back. Tell me exactly what you think about this entire situation. Tell me if you're Team Zilla or Team Roman. Tell me how you would book this if you were in charge of WWE Creative. And make sure you share this video with every wrestling fan you know, because Zilla Fatu's revelations are the most important story in wrestling right now, and everyone needs to hear what he said. The truth is out there. The dysfunction within the Bloodline has been exposed, and wrestling will never quite look the same now that we know what's really happening behind the scenes. This is Wrestling Newsletter, and we'll see you in the next video with more breaking news and analysis.